It's a terrible way to make money. If you're thinking about fighting to make money, stop. I'm telling you, go buy a lawnmower, start a landscaping business. What's up? Welcome to Fight City Gym Talk. You are here with Eric Wallin, and the question is, how much do MMA fighters really make? That's a big question with tons of variables. Let's go to the top end first and just get that out of the way. UFC fighters. UFC fighters can make anywhere from $10,000 to $500,000. Now, that's a huge gap, $10,000 to $500,000. $10,000 is a guy that's never been in the UFC before. He's fighting on a prelim card, and he's just a fill-in. Okay, let's go to the other end of the spectrum. $500,000. That's a guy that's very popular, has a huge following, and is probably fighting for a title. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about that because at the end of the day, that's not what you need to know. If you've never fought before, what you need to know and what you probably really want to know is how much do MMA fighters get paid when they start out. When you start fighting and you're an amateur, you will get paid nothing. That's right, zero. Because amateur fighters, by definition, are amateurs and they don't get paid. So why in the heck would you do it? Well, because that's where you got to start. You got to start at the bottom. You got to fight for free. Now, a lot of promotions will pay you for sales, like a commission, right? Every ticket you sell, you might make $5, or a lot of them are like 20%, 25% of your sales. So if you sold like a really expensive VIP $100 ticket, you get paid more for that versus a $30 general admission ticket. So I've seen amateur fighters, tons of friends, a lot of good social media content. I've seen amateur fighters make as much as $1,000, even $2,000 on an amateur fight because they're selling tons of tickets. It's not easy to sell tickets, guys. Like, as much as you think everybody that knows you wants to see you fight, it's hard to sell tickets. So you have to be a salesman, you have to get out there, and the best way to sell tickets if you're an amateur fighter and you want to actually make money selling tickets and getting that commission, the best way to sell tickets, guys, small businesses, VIP tickets, table seats, stuff like that. Get a small business or just anybody that owns a business to buy a whole table, and all of a sudden you're going to get a big fat commission selling a whole VIP table to a small business. And a lot of small businesses don't mind that. They'll do something like, hey, here at work, whoever performs the best over the next couple of weeks, I'll get them table seats to this upcoming fight. And all of a sudden it's kind of a win-win, right? Like, the small business gets better performance out of their employees, the fighter gets to sell a table, the promoter gets to sell a table, and everybody's happy. But at the end of the day, it's sometimes really hard to talk that small business into dropping sometimes it's like $1,000, $1,200 on a table. So long story short, you can make money as an amateur fighter, but you got to get to work and you got to start selling tickets. Now, let's go to professional. How much are you going to make when you take your first professional fight in a local professional show? I'll tell you my story real quick. My first professional fight, I made $50 to show up. I also made another $50 if I won, but I lost that fight. So I made $50 in my first professional fight. But if you continue to grind and you continue to win, that scale can go up pretty fast. Nowadays, I feel like most professional fighters, when they take their first professional fight, are getting somewhere more in the ballpark of like $300 to show up and another $300 if they win, plus the ticket sales. So your first professional fight, if you're good at selling tickets, it could almost be like a guaranteed $1,000 or more. $300 to show up, $300 to win, and you sold enough tickets that you got a $400 commission. And typically commissions are like 20%, 25%, maybe like $5 a ticket, but that's all up to the promoter. They'll establish what the commission base is on the tickets you sell. That's if the promotion does it. The promotion doesn't have to give you a commission, but most of them do. So where does that leave you? If you're just starting into MMA because you want to make money, at the end of the day, if you're doing MMA for the money, stop. There are way better ways to make money than in the MMA game. It is a very hard way to make money. When it boils down to it, you're going to have to buy all your equipment. And you should be buying decent stuff if you want to actually make money doing this. You need to have good equipment. You could be anywhere from $500 to $1,000 on equipment. Also, you got to pay your monthly membership fees so that you can have a team to work with and to help build you up. So your monthly fees plus your equipment, plus you have to probably be an amateur for a few years, which means you pay to play. You have to do all your amateur registration fees, your physical, your blood work. When you start adding this all up, it's like you're just paying the sport, paying the sport, paying the sport. You're dumping all this money in, and it could be years later until you actually take your first pro fight. And that first pro fight, you might only get paid $300 if you lose. If you win $600 and get commissions on ticket sales, you might make $1,000. So it's like, here you are a couple years in and you made $1,000, but you've probably spent thousands of dollars to get to that point. It's a terrible way to make money. If you're thinking about fighting to make money, stop. I'm telling you, go buy a lawnmower, start a landscaping business. Like, do something else. Get a degree, get a certificate. Make money the hard way, the old-fashioned way, because that's the right way to make money. Now, if you love fighting and it's your hobby and everybody pays to play, right? Whether you're doing a different sport or fighting, it costs money to play sports. So if you know you're going to be spending money on sports and you're like, well, I like the idea of MMA because if it works out for me, I very well could be making money quite quickly in comparison to like golf. You want to make money in golf? If you didn't start when you're a wee kid, you're not making any money in golf. Same thing with tennis. You want to make money playing tennis? You're not making any money in the tennis game unless you started when you were a little kid and you've been doing it your whole life. And then just, for instance, some other sports like snow skiing, snowboarding, something like that. Like, same thing. If you haven't been doing this most of your life, you're not making any money in any of those sports. So the cool thing about fighting is you could start at the age of 20, and by the age of 25, you could be making money in this sport. But how much are you going to make? Well, that depends on how good you are, how much energy you put in, how much effort you put in. So long story short, I will say if you're starting to fight because you want money, there's easier ways to make money. If you're fighting because you love fighting and you might make money one day in the future, that's a great approach. That's the best way to do it. You just tell yourself, I love the sport. I love the mixed martial arts. And one day, if I'm good enough, maybe I'll start making money. Anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have a comment, leave it in the comment section. And if you have any other questions about fighting, MMA, boxing, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, put them in the comment section. Let me know, and I might get around to answering your questions.